All right. Welcome to the Dragon's Tome. I am your host, Chopper,
Very aggressive.
joined again by our friends Jack and Rob. I've softened my tone? Is that better?
Hello, everyone.
Here we are in 1990.
We did it. We made
Question
it to
mark?
90.
1990.
January
We're in January
1990.
90. Episode 153, Dragon Magazine number 153. We are now looking at the cover, and we have a pantheon of or not even a pantheon. This is more like an amalgam of
Yep.
gods.
It's all the different gods betting on some races.
Some kind of spiritual chariot race.
Oh, they're not betting on it. They are remote controlling it via an apparatus.
Oh, you're right. Look, what's his face? Is that Hercules or who is that?
Yeah, it could be. Or Ares, maybe.
And Anubis as well, and it goes down to some sort of
That looks like there's Odin behind him, and Mercury, and Zeus is a sourpuss over there. I don't know what's going on with him, but
well,
He doesn't approve of racing.
classic dad move. He's looking at the kids playing video games, going, "Come on,
Yeah.
turn that off. Go outside, touch grass."
Touch grass, kids. Yeah, that's probably Artemis, maybe, with the bow.
I think so. Maybe. I mean, it's in the. I think they put it down in the liner notes or whatever it's called. Who drew this? Kelly Freyas?
Freyas, yep. Kelly Freyas.
Apparently, she's a winner of 10 Hugo
Or
Awards.
he.
Or he. Sorry,
Does it actually give a pronoun?
no, I don't know. I didn't read it.
Yes, that Kelly Freyas, winner of 10 Hugo Awards, but it doesn't really.
Oh, it does say Mr. Freyas.
Oh, does it say? Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Freyas. It's a dude.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't say. It does say that Panthers were Anubis' idea, and Mercury lost the bet with Odin. That's why Odin's smirking, and Jupiter is in the background, which is it's the same thing.
Zeus. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why. Oh, that's right. You can see Odin holding his hand out to Mercury. That's why he's looking a little
Pay
pissy.
up, and it's the coin coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good picture, man. He did a really good job.
Muger and Huger.
It's a very eye catching color.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Like,
fun.
If
Yeah.
you were walking by, you'd be like, "Oh, what is that?"
and a good cover where you could look at different things, catch different
Yeah, a lot.
things.
Yeah,
and see
you
what's
can actually
going
stare
on,
at.
and
That's especially when you're buying a magazine. That's fun to be able to look at a cover and just find new things all the time. That's fun.
Yeah.
Like I didn't notice they were remote controlling them. I didn't even see that. So
Yeah, I didn't either until you guys said that.
that was Jack.
Jack.
I use my peepers. I like
ever the eagle eye Jack.
The Odin died.
Yep.
well.
Jack-
Someday
Jack-
in the
Jack
near
One
future,
Eye.
I'll be open died.
Jack One Eye.
Jack one eye.
Gonna happen.
I'm looking
Oh.
forward to this.
But then you'll look like a pirate and we'll be like, "Arr."
All right. Well, let's move on to some articles then. Jack, would you like to go first?
Oh, I would like to go first. I very rarely go first. Gives me a chance to scoop one of you guys.
It's okay.
If we could go to page 62 in the PDF through the looking glass.
This is one of mine.
Oh,
Oh, it wasn't. No, not this one. Must be the next one. Yes, this is like dragon sculptures.
Ed Dobriansky is talking about how to make your own miniatures. And although some of it is not relevant for today, a lot of the basics, the fundamentals are. And he starts by making an armature, and he gives you what the equipment you're going to need, how to do it, using two-part epoxy, what you might call like a green stuff or
Green stuff or Neatite.
Yeah, I wonder if
Some-
green stuff wasn't around yet. Probably it was.
Well, Neatite was, and I think this is what he's using is Neatite.
he's using the hardware store version, the same stuff like I've got what's it called,
Plumber's
Solid
putty,
steel,
plumber's
yeah,
putty, and
uh, I don't want to alarm anyone, but in the hobby space, that if you're buying a hobby branded from a hobby store anything,
you're getting
getting
screwed. Yeah,
because you're
that's
paying 3 times as much for something if you go to Canadian Tire and you can
Canadian
find
Tire. That's very local reference.
it's a countrywide, the second biggest
Wow.
country on the planet is not local. But okay,
Home
so if you want to
Depot.
go down to your Home Hardware or
Is
your
Home Hardware Canadian too? Do you have Home Hardware's pet?
Home Hardware?
Yeah.
No, we have Harbor Freight.
No.
no,
You
Actually,
have
he does. He does put the brand name. It's Epoxy Patch.
yeah.
that was
So
my nickname in high school.
Yeah,
epoxy patch.
that was my prison name.
That's what Odin has. So, anyways, once you've gone to your Princess Auto and picked up all your stuff, you can make an armature. You can
Rona? Do you have a Rona down there?
you can sculpt. You can sculpt. He recommends what to do, where, what kind of materials to use.
Ace?
He gives hints on what scale you should be doing. He says for beginners, let's not start out with a little halfling guy. Let's do something sizable. You want to be able to get the details in there, and then he gets into like the painting and the photography of the your. But that's been covered a million times before. But the first stuff about making your own model that you can plunk down at your gaming table and here you go. It'll make your players go, oh
It's pretty
no.
cool.
Yeah.
It's art for sure.
It is.
Uh,
You gotta. I mean, you have to definitely have a decent hand sculpting. I do not
or a
have
delicate
decent
hand sculpting too. Look at like little fingers and stuff. It's crazy. His teeth. Nowadays, the people do it digitally, and we can 3D print them. So
Yeah, but this is 1990. This article was written 1989, no less. So
When
no 3D printing then.
I had the same reaction that Rob just said. I looked at the details and it says you're going to need to spend 40 hours to build this thing. And I'm thinking, or I pay someone else for their STL.
yeah,
I put it on my printer. I go to bed. I wake up and I'm
Yeah.
painting the
Yeah.
next day. So,
And
exactly.
I spend 40 hours printing it.
and I say that, but I'm trying to learn Blender, and everyone that is talking about Blender says it's a good 300 hours before you get the basics down. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't have 300 hours left of life, let alone.
Yeah. What put it on my tombstone.
Almost learned Blender.
Here lies Jack.
got
Friend,
halfway to learning Blender.
friend, foe, and almost learned Blender.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's so
No,
I will
it's
not
definitely
be
a
mastering
skill.
Blender.
No.
And I've gotten away with using other things and got pretty interesting results.
Yeah, I can mix and match STLs, but I can't do it from scratch. But
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll get bug up my ass and I'll really knuckle down. But I already have a job, so
that's a problem. That's the problem. It's you have other hobbies too. Like you want to enjoy other things. If that's
it,
your
right?
only hobby, that's
You
fine.
either spend 40 hours learning to sculpt for real, or you spend 300 hours learning to sculpt digitally.
Wow. The learning to sculpt for real like this took him more than 300 hours. I guarantee that. This isn't just
Well-
some newbie just making this thing. Even the wireframe, I was like, that'd be a beautiful miniature right there.
when I was scrolling down, I looked at that is beautiful. Like that, it looked like maybe a sculpture of like a bigger scale than what it turned out to be. But as I was scrolling, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that underneath from a LED on like a mahogany base and let
Creates
the
like a
shadows
shadow.
shoot.
Yeah.
That'd be real.
Mahogany.
No, but definitely a lot of talent on display here, more than
The wireframe is something I could probably do. That's where my skill would end. I think.
I don't
Yeah.
know what your soldering.
Oh, he solders it together. I would just wire it together. I think.
No,
Yeah, solder.
Yeah.
I have soldered before, and I recently thought about getting a soldering gun again, but
I have one,
did
and
not.
I'm fairly good at it, but it's mainly for electronics soldering, not for wire building soldering.
I can't remember why I was going to get it. Probably from making a prop or something. I get into Halloween a bit.
when you're working with that foam, that hobby foam, that people you can battle damage.
yeah, with soldering
burnish,
guns.
you
Yeah,
can do
maybe
all
that's why I was
kinds-
going to get a soldering gun. You're right. That could have been.
You're probably looking at making some armor for a costume or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enough of that. We're off the topic.
Enough of that. Rob, what would you like to go to?
Hey, I just noticed that this article is by the same guy I just talked about last week. We're going to go to page 28.
Oh, that was one of mine.
I can do a different one.
No, this is fine. We're gonna get through it all. I wrote a lot on this one.
Yeah, me too. This is Following in Their Footsteps. Priests should learn the skills and hobbies of their gods by Fraser Sherman. He's the one who did the realistic Marvel one in the last issue. So it's pretty much how to choose abilities and non-weapon proficiencies dictated by your deity. The thing he does say a little bit of weird things in this one. Like he says somehow most followers of Greek gods can't ride horses, only Poseidon because he invented them. I was like, what?
Right. Yeah, I saw that too. So this is based on legends and lore, but I would like to point out. I think he doesn't really say, but I think it's the first edition because the second edition, Legends and Lore, doesn't come out till like fall of 1990.
Yeah, and this is also, but it's adding second edition stuff like non-weapon proficiencies. That's from second edition, so it's kind of blending the two. So he goes through every single of the Olympians. It's all about
what you said about the horses too. I'm sorry to interrupt, but he also saw how clerics from these different deities wouldn't adventure together because it would be just a competition. Whose hammer is bigger.
Yeah, it would be a big competition between them. But he goes through all the Olympians. So he goes through the old Zeus. He says they can use weather manipulations spells. But he also says another one of these things that he keeps doing for all these guys. He says that since Zeus was a womanizer, all the clerics who follow him are womanizers also. Yeah. I was like, what?
Basically, he goes to every the gods saying that how these guys are like. So the clerics should or would act like these people.
So Aphrodite's implies all the clerics are sexed up and they can only adventure with their significant other in a group, and it applies their horse pretty much. Apollo also all male but also all sexed up. Ares
and combat focused.
Well, that's Ares and Athena. They seem good. Both those actually made sense to me. I was like, okay, those ones are good. Artemis, only virgin women. Okay, that kind of makes sense. She's a virgin goddess. Dionysus, they're all drunk and insane, which is okay. I guess so. If you're going to worship Dionysus, I guess you'd be drunk all the time. But, so it just goes through all the different gods. And
one cool thing about this article, too, is that he adds 2 new gods that aren't from the deities and demigods, which is Hestia, which is the goddess of the hearth. So she's all about cooking, all her stuff, and all their clerics should be great cooks. So Gordon Ramsay is the cleric of Hestia. Yeah. And Asclepius, the god of medicine. So
that makes sense. Healer. Yeah, like that's a big missing in the since it's so logical that that's the god of healers. That I'm amazed that isn't already in there, but
yeah. And then there's just a crap ton of new skills.
Yeah.
So if you get caught with a swan. If you're out in the field,
it's not my fault. I'm a follower of Zeus.
I'm a follower of Zeus, and you just pull your toga aside, or maybe you're from Springfield, Ohio. If you're in a pond grabbing wildlife, one of the two.
It never happened. Either way, Zeus was the swan. That's the only problem.
He was the swan in that.
Yeah. So the swan actually raped somebody else. So if you shapeshift into a swan and have sex with somebody, it's not your fault. It's Zeus's.
Yes.
The joke doesn't land then. I'm being told. Yeah, no, I flubbed that one. I'm sorry, guys.
I have another note for you. Rape isn't funny.
No, it'd be consensual sex with a swan
in your word. That's right. In the real world, it was not. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not consensual. Swan cannot give consent, Jack.
But if the swan is Zeus,
okay,
still not consent.
if Zeus says it's okay, I guess that at that point, okay, we can accept it.
Okay.
I'm so confused by this whole line.
We're just gonna move on then.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
And we're gonna go to page 24.
They're saying in the booth, Andy's saying HR wants to see us after this.
Yeah,
I think it's you.
Yeah, I'm the witness against you. I'm the one bringing up the suit. 24.
Right. Yep. As above, so below.
Phrasing.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting take on how gods and their pantheons interact in campaigns.
I don't know if you've noticed it. Most of this magazine's about gods and pantheons.
Yeah, it's in pantheon. So he gives 3 different takes on how pantheons and gods throughout history were portrayed in real life and in fiction.
Say his name. How dare you?
Craig Barrett Jr. Craig Barrett Jr. says
he deserves all the credit.
We will refer to him as Junior from here on.
Can we call him CBJ?
I like Junior better. Junior here.
Junior.
We probably should not be too light. He was shot in a shower, so.
Oh, JR.
Yeah.
It was a dream, Jack. Don't worry.
What?
Sorry.
Spoilers.
Oh, you weren't that far ahead in the story. Sorry. I was joking. It's not a dream.
So he uses the Michael Moorcock books, the Eternal Champion conflicts, specifically Eric, where the gods there were good and evil, and they were just in a battle to see who could control.
Yeah, Chaos in Order. That was a lot of those books.
Mm-hmm. He says having these in your campaign will make for an awkward situation for players, as well as using the Babylon Pantheon, which is angels and demons led by a good and bad person. But reading through the article, then it seems like he really likes the Viking and Greek kind of way, where they're neither lawful or chaotic, where they have their own kind of agenda. But I think all in all, there's a line in the thing that kind of a statement that I think sums up basically the whole article and how we should play gods in the roles of command. There was a line that said created by men in the form of men. So these gods that we're talking about are really just were creations of the people around them.
Yeah.
And put into the form of the people around them. So
and to explain natural things happening around them.
So I mean, in a sense, it just at the bottom line, I think it's you just kind of play the gods the way you want them to be for you at that point, right?
Well, or they play them as the archetypes that they are, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, there's a reason why there's so much overlap. That Venn diagram of through all different pantheons. Oh, there's always this god. Well, because that's what needed to be explained, and that's how it is. And they have the same personality for the most part, because that's just how
it represents the
it is that humans would see that.
Yeah.
So fire is fiery. Okay, the gods are water is contemptuous and dangerous. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So all in all, it was an interesting take, and boils down to like what you said, like we said, just they are who they are because that's the way we want them to be. All right, Jack.
As above, so below. That's the whole point of it.
Could we go to page 74, please?
74
of the PDF. Your best chances. Now, bear with me.
Yeah, I'm bearing with you right now. There's a lot of math here.
There is a lot of math, and I'm not going to go into the math.
Okay.
The math can kick rocks.
Good. Fuck that math.
This is one thing I did not like in the second edition, but go ahead, sorry.
I brought this up only because my pal Patrick here, whenever we're on a meeting or anything like that, and I hear clack, 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 clack.
That would be me.
And that's young Patrick rolling up mind characters. And sorry to call you out on your behavior, but
he won't abide it, and this is him asking you to stop.
No,
it's more dice goblining.
I can't do it anymore because I put all those dice up and I brought all the dice downstairs because it was cluttering up my desk.
That's why he needs a dragon bone. At least it's. Oh no, it has noise, doesn't it? Dragon bone. I forgot.
Yeah. I don't know for certain, but anyways, so what this is, your best chances, a statistical look at your D&D character creation, and it gives multiple methods on how to roll up a character. Something that has intrigued all of us. Because of what could be game breaking, what you want in a character, what you need to do to have a playable character. And to this day, there are people who have even more methods than this that to make a D&D character.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is still, but all these methods are based on dice I mean, now I think we're even into
Well,
points at this
yeah,
point.
a lot of games have point systems, but Method 6 actually is kind of a point system
Yeah.
because you roll up a bunch and you end up with points. But most modern games have point systems instead, so you can make the character you want, not just have random rolls. I personally, it's Method 5. That's when 46 dropped
Method-
lowest in a
Method
sign.
5 is the one I like a lot.
Yeah.
Is the one I use a lot for
I
D&D.
don't like the ones that roll 3d6 12 times. No.
No.
There are ones that are just you make a pool like some
Yeah.
games now. There's ones where it's almost like rolling with advantage.
That
There's
being said, every once in a while, I like to break out the basic set.
To make you just roll straight up.
And Method 1 is the way we're making characters
Yep.
for original D&D.
That's how you used to have to do it.
as soon as the system got more and more complicated with demi-humans and
Character classes that had requirements.
classes, yes, if you were like, okay, I'm feeling this is the character I want, or even as the DM you wanted a certain, and it just takes some bad dice rolls, you're like, okay, well, you've got yourself what's essentially a peasant,
Because you can't even there's
a weapon,
yeah.
you're useless. You'll never succeed at anything. You can't even be what you want to be.
Yeah, you can't even be a fighter. You're so poor, you can't even be a fighter.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the fishmonger here. He's
I throw a fish. What do I need to hit?
That's
Yeah,
that's like Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I guess is like that. You start off as nothing.
Yeah.
So he gives how he calculated with the calculations that he used on a what did he use? He used a IBM PC computer for the calculations.
I thought it was an abacus.
A spreadsheet, and then he goes down a couple pages to a bunch of charts, which then gives the statistical probability of using
Which
of
method gets you
getting
which numbers? Yeah.
what you wanted through which method. So you could retro engineer. You could reverse engineer. Oh, I'm looking to get a paladin. Which one of these would get me the paladin? But again, that's
I like how method 1 to get a paladin is less than 1% chance of getting a paladin.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And again, this is something that is to this day people are talking about. Oh well, when we roll characters, we do this because I want to be, or we want characters that are capable or something like that. So the math again, it can kick rocks, but the concept
It is
of
interesting,
rolling
though.
characters and different methods, and that's kind of more of the I don't know, not charm. Is charm a word for making a character and wanting to?
But I like how
the-
like I hate math, but the math is interesting in this because I don't find the math, like anecdotally, it doesn't work for me. But because I think you always at least roll like a 15, but it's only 20% chance to roll like a 15. Like it's such low percentages. Like it's just crazy.
we were just kind of talking about this. Remember the other day when you were like, "What the hell's that noise?" And so I'm rolling up a fake character in my head, and my average roll was 11 or 12 on most.
That's what they say.
Using method 5.
They say the average is 12. 12 is almost all of them is 12, which I think that's also funny that you have all these different methods and most of them have the same average of rolling. So what's the point of using all these different methods? There's two hard ones. 3 and 1 are bad, but the rest are 12s. So,
and it was, you were doing that. It was either before or after we were either waiting for the rest of the Call of Cthulhu group to show up, or it was after we had just finished and we had just played Call of Cthulhu, where there were people rolling hundreds and ones, back and forth. They were nothing but 100s and ones for like 4 rolls in a row.
Yeah.
So like you never know what you're gonna get with those.
That's the thing. That's the point of dice. It's just
you
have the same. Theoretically, you have the same chance to roll anything on a single die, right? So there's a bell curve the moment you use more dice, but there's on single die you can roll a 6, you can roll 1, same exact chance. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
I played 5th edition once, and I can't even remember what their suggestion for character creation is.
I'm sure it's give yourself all 18s, probably because it's easy mode. So
I don't know if it's that, but it's I don't know if it's rolling dice anymore. So I'll have to look.
Well, I think there's a bunch of methods.
Yeah,
but The modern way to do it is dice pools. That's you get a certain amount of dice to assign. Or I like the way they also I've done it.
Points. I like points.
I've done it where you roll all your things, but you take some away from ones to give to others. Like if you want to pump some stuff up, so you can
pump.
Yeah, I know Rob was being hyperbolic there, but I've now seen ads for Dungeons and Dragons 2024, and it is the fortnight of Dungeons and Dragons. Optimus Prime is in it, so, and I'm not lying. I'm not. So I don't think it's going to be the crunchy dice rolling statistics of this.
Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro, so they have all the rights to everything. so until all are one.
I think this is a thing of the past, us waxing nostalgic about how we rolled up some characters or rolling up characters in your head. It's just,
because we can always do what we want. We don't have to play the stupid 5th edition or 24 or whatever they call it.
Exactly.
And that's why...
We play first, we play second.
And that's also why Wizards of the Coast is supposedly offering a bounty on your old books so that you get rid of them, so that to force you to...
no one's giving up their old books. That's the dumbest thing. Unless their bounty is millions of dollars.
Yeah, how much? I've got to...
Exactly. See?
I might buy... Maybe I'll buy other people's and then sell them.
Guess what? There's other ways of getting these books now. There's something called PDFs that are... Yeah. You can buy them and distribute them. Yeah. Not legally, let's just say.
All right.
Well, once they've got the funeral pyre of books going, the Fahrenheit 9/11 style, where they're flamethrowering all your old second edition books,
you must play the newest one.
Yeah.
But there's kids nowadays. It's just like video games. They always have to play the newest thing, the newest phone, newest everything. That's the mentality of kids, and I think they know that, and they're just preying on that mentality. So. Yeah. You don't have to play the newest thing. Play the old things. The old things are better.
Sometimes.
All the time.
Old Monopoly is not better than new Monopoly.
Monopoly is the worst thing on the planet, so nobody should be tortured to play that game ever again.
Again, see, you just proved the point.
We all three of us old grognards just talked to the mythical, non-existent kids that are watching the show.
Yeah, exactly.
About the perils of not...
This was the rocking chair forum.
Jack or Pat, you should write this down because this should be the short. So maybe it will go.
The rocking chair forum. So we're gonna move on now.
This should be the short so that it'll get out to everybody. That's what it'll be fed to their things.
Whose turn is it? Where do you want to take us?
Whose was this?
That was mine.
I said, Rob, where do you want to take us?
Well, I didn't know whose it was. We're going to 50.
Oh, that's mine.
Well, screw you. Hey, I've done all of yours.
Since we shouldn't be doing any more, that was my second one.
That was my second. This is my... You went first, remember, Jack?
Oh.
Yeah. This is my second one.
I'm not used to going first. I was just booked the last show. I apologize. I was wrong.
This is my second article. I have one little...
my second and last.
I have one little short one after this. Me and Pat had the exact same articles. Game Wizards. This is Jeff Grubb this time. He's complaining about having to work with Elminster. So Elminster just shows up in Jeff Grubb's office.
As he's working on the Forgotten Realms adventure book.
And he just keeps getting annoyed by him. But he's creating a Forgotten Realms adventure book, first non-core hardback book for 2E coming out.
I liked it because it was set as in a story of him working on a book and then being interrogated by Elminster.
Yeah, Elminster's just asking about the book.
Dropping hints that's coming in the book.
So, yes, this new book coming out. It's addition to the old box set, not a replacement. It's just adding more second edition stuff to it and focusing on certain spots that didn't talk about before. Lots of changes in the setting and characters, including adding gunpowder and things like that. But it's I guess it's moving the timeline up, which is kind of fun too. So there's
because I remember in the books they did an Avatar series where they killed a lot of the old gods.
Yeah, and new gods took their places.
That's the branch from first edition to second edition for Forgotten Realms.
And there's something called the Horde is coming. I guess it's from the east. The Mongol hordes,
like the card tour,
are coming to the Forgotten Realms in second edition. So they're teasing all this in this book. I did not have this book. Did either of you have the?
I have this book.
Well, I'm not surprised. Jack, did you have this book?
Well,
Pat, you have every book.
I told you Forgotten Realms was my deal when I got back into...
Pat, you have every book. You don't have to defend yourself.
I don't
I
have
was
I don't have a lot of
Greyhawk and
Dragonlance. I don't have a lot of Dragonlance.
No.
I didn't play any of the Forgotten Realms games. I didn't video games. I didn't have
Oh, no?
Forgotten Realms was
It was the books. It was the novels that got me into Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, nothing like that.
They had-
Greyhawk and Dragonlance.
Yeah, they had written so many books for Forgotten Realms that it sucked me in.
Forgotten Realms is definitely the books I read. And the thing with us playing D&D back then, we never really followed a setting. We just kind of had a generic fantasy setting. I don't think anybody really... We'd take bits and pieces from all different places.
When I ran D&D...
Specific.
I ran Forgotten Realms, and I didn't run D&D a lot, so I didn't use a lot of Forgotten Realms. I had a lot of stuff, but I didn't use it.
Yeah.
But the guy in our group, Tony, who ran our D&D GM, he created his own world. So.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot of times when you played so much. By this point, you create your own worlds, taking pieces from all the different stuff you like, but generally it's your own thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
One other thing I liked about this article is that Jeff Grubb even drops a little hint that there's going to be a sequel to the Azor Bonds book.
Yeah. Which
it eventually becomes a trilogy.
Azure Bonds. I remember that game too.
So.
Yep.
I thought Jeff Grubb put together a really nice little captivating article as told in the
fun
story.
little. Because it probably could have been like, okay, I have this information to give.
I'm doing this.
I only have this much. I have literally a paragraph of what to say. I got to fill it out. Hey, I'll have Elminster stop by and just
pretty cool.
Cause trouble.
Have me give him the third degree. Did you put this in? Are you working on this?
Could you tell me more about the Horde so we can fight them? He's like, no.
Yeah.
It does have this. There is precedence because the same thing happened many moons ago in the magazine. So it's a.
I think when the first Forgotten Realms box set came out, I think they did the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, fun times.
All right. Well, Jack doesn't have another article. I have been submerged on 2 of my 3 articles. So, Rob, what is your last quick one?
My last quick one's on number 5, page 5. No, sorry, page 7. It's one of the letters. It's on the very first letter called "Do It on Disc," and this person, Gary Shenifelt from Boston, says, you should put all your Dragon magazines on a disc. That would be real helpful.
It's Goth Shenifelt.
He wants it more of a disc of the month club, so you get the magazine on disc. But eventually, not very far in the future, they put the first 300 issues or something on the disc. So
it's like a floppy disk. Does he want a 3.5? Is that what he's looking for?
Yeah, like it becomes on a CD disc. Yeah, it becomes in a CD disc. He wants a floppy disk.
What's a CD?
Yeah, eventually it's on a CD-ROM, but it's not that far in the future. So
no, it's not.
We can thank Garrett.
As a matter of fact, I think on Facebook someone just put one of those up, and I think last time I looked at it, it was at $400.
It's crazy. If you have one of those discs, it's worth a lot of money for some unknown reason.
For some reason,
Although,
I mean, I did say the upside to having it would be you'd have like really nice looking scans as compared to the ones you could probably find online.
Well, no, they don't have any data on them anymore. Even CD drives now that are 2 decades after those discs, they've lost all their.
That's because it is magnetic. Yeah,
there's nothing on those discs. There can't be.
Well, there'd be some, but it'd be a lot of corruption. That's for sure. But we use archive.org, but archive.org recently lost a big lawsuit, and they're not allowed to have this kind of stuff on there. So I'm curious, even if our links we always have links in the show notes to all the magazines. I don't even know if those links work anymore. So you might have to find it some other way. So I'm sure it's out there because we definitely found it other ways. So, but if you're trying to follow along, you should have downloaded it all before it went away because nothing on the internet is permanent.
I didn't know archives.org lost a lawsuit. I didn't know they were being sued.
Yeah,
I always wonder how they got away with it, but.
Well, because the whole point was it was supposed to be like an archive, like a library, right? Like trying to preserve the past, and all these big companies are like, no, you're stealing our stuff, and they're like, you're not even using this stuff anymore. We're just trying to preserve it.
I think the problem is they put a download button. Maybe if you didn't have the download button.
Yeah, who knows? But they got sued and they had to stop.
Yeah.
So.
There is an argument to be made. Hey, we're creating a museum of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And someone go, yeah, but that was ours. And you say, well, it's absolutely worthless. And someone saying, but we could monetize that.
Yeah, but they don't. That's a problem. Yeah.
So is it good that it's being preserved?
I'm
And are
about
they
yeah,
the wrong ones,
yeah.
or is it bad
Well,
that these people would
I
then
think
say
late stage
I'll charge you
capitalism's very
$10?
bad, so I think yes, it's bad that
well,
people are shutting public ways of getting things down. Yes, but if
well,
you're
you know,
if you're all about the making the dollars, yeah, it's their
well,
stuff. They could do it.
they say that they can't do it, and we'll find other ways. But I'll just cite Pirate Bay. You know, they said Pirate Bay can't do any of that shit either, and
Guess what?
that hasn't gone away.
Yeah, that's right. You can't stop the system.
Signal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't stop the
stop
signal.
the
Yeah, there's always gonna be other ways. So
Yeah.
governments
All
try
right.
to shut down stuff, just makes it worse because
worse.
it's a wild west, baby.
All right. Speaking of Wild West, Captain Jack, where do you want to go for
Captain
an ad?
Captain Jack. Let's go to page 55.
I was wondering if you'd choose this one because comes up a
Temple
lot
of the
recently.
Beast Men, a maze game. This is we've seen them before, but this is the first one that I've seen that looks more so like our modern version of a game that reveals tiles before you, and you kind of like a exploration
Dungeon crawler. Yep.
Yeah, there's a technical term for it. I don't know what it is. I was surprised when I saw a woman with a Victoria era dress looking thing with what must be either a bottle in her hand or the very worst perspective on a gun.
It's a gun, I
in her
think.
hand.
Yeah, I think it's a pistol.
I think it's a sonic screwdriver.
I think it's a pistol because there's a pistol. Look over her finger. It looks like it's in a trigger guard.
Is that a ring? Is
No,
that
I
a
don't think
bottle
so.
in her hand? I don't know. It's the worst rendition
Sonic
of
I don't know the Doctor Who reference.
but
We get it.
has she crushed it in her hand like Superman, so it's all deformed? I don't know. But GW,
It's her vape.
GDW, yeah, she's Rob doing the Galaxy Gas. There you go. She is too.
She's whipping it.
So apparently, there's a Martian king that creates this lair, and the High Martians are populating this lair, and it's full of treasure and items. And your character goes into this lair to find them, and lo and behold, there are other players 1 through 4 or whatever it is. Other adventurers have thought about doing the same, and you dungeon crawl your way through a maze of I don't know, terrors.
Very similar to what's the game we play? Shadows of Brimstone. We haven't played that forever. We should play it again because I love that game. But yeah, it's the dungeon crawler. It's nowadays the idea of having tiles with different exits that are in the same spot on everything, so that you can place them in any way possible, is just a common thing. But this must have been pretty groundbreaking even back here. So fun.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got, Rob?
It is a ripoff of John Carter and Marcel, by the way.
Yeah, very much so.
Is it?
Is it? Isn't it? Let's go to page 31.
31.
It's another. We talked about this last time, but it's another one of these West End creepy ads.
Yeah,
January
now the Delphi
16th.
Council is in there.
It's January 16th, 1990. Hey, that's when this magazine came out. And yep, whatever the Delphi Council is, they're coming in 1990. Sorry, 1990 now. Yeah, it's coming. Whatever this is, it's coming.
Yeah, now it's too late.
Yeah.
And again, Rob knows what's coming.
But
well,
we don't.
I have an idea what's coming. I looked up what West End Games put out in 1990, and there's only one thing that this could be for, and I was like, really? Is that what this is about? But we'll see.
We'll find out.
I'm dropping hints.
Or we won't.
Or we won't, because they'll be like, oh, we don't have money to keep doing this.
And then it'll be the end.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to my ad and my last one, because I didn't have a lot in this one. Let's go to page 23. Magic.
I was thinking about these ones too.
So my question is not so much the miniatures itself, and they look okay, miniatures, but because nowhere, I guess this is one of the first ads where we're seeing them all fully painted. So and I know the answer to this, even though I wrote it down as a question. I wrote down, were these pre-painted? Probably not, but
no.
No.
They are. Yeah, generic miniatures for various things. The Call of Cthulhu miniatures, definitely recognize them. I've seen them before.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just ripoffs of other ones, but if I've seen these specific ones. But that I don't know if
There's
that's
some Space Marines in there.
the big one at the end there with the big wings. I've definitely seen him before. So
A Byakhee. You could use him as a Byakhee.
yeah, I guess so. Yep, and yeah. So it's generic miniatures for whatever game you want to play. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror.
Up until now, rarely did you see a fully painted set of miniatures in an ad. They usually just showed the bare metal.
It's probably because they keep showing the bare metal, and we keep saying, "Hey, this looks like a ripoff of other games." So like, let's show it off better.
So that that was my question. That's why I said, were these pre-painted? And knowing full well, probably not. But
because I think GW set the bar, and now everyone's kind of having to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. GW always had theirs painted.
Bare metal is what we're selling, but if you can get a good paint job, you can trick people into thinking these sculpts are way better than they are.
Exactly.
I would like to say that there is no asterisk saying comes supplied unpainted.
That's what. That's
let's sue them.
It doesn't say anything.
Let's buy them and say why were they painted? The ads claim they showed them painted.
And it says turn your fantasies to reality, so I'm assuming that's the realities that they're painted.
Yeah, your fantasies that they're painted.
Yeah.
This ad usually comes as a 2-page spread that has what they are,
model numbers. Yeah.
Model, because the other times we see this, it has model numbers underneath the thing, and then it has pricing, the other side that has. So maybe those would have unpainted or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, Rob, do you have any more?
No, I'm out. I didn't have any ads for this one.
Look at that. No, we all had one ad.
Imagine that when it's not my show. We do the right
Jack, do you have another ad?
Do you want to throw it in my face, Jack? You have another ad?
I do. Page 27. Robotech and the Sentinels. We've never seen that ad before.
No, that's a new ad for sure. Now we've seen
that.
I always found the Palladium ads the boringest ads. They're like, okay, it's got a picture, but otherwise it's just a freaking wall of text.
And it's the text that makes me not want to read it.
Yeah.
It's 60 different books with one picture. And it's like, oh, I recognize that. That's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle in the corner. Or, that's a guy riding a slug. But then after that, it's just this wall of words. Yeah.
I do own all these Robotech books, by the way. I own every single one. So I'm very, very proud of that.
All right.
Some strange way.
Jack broke the rules. We got 2 ads, and we'll allow a pass this time.
That was being facetious. That was not real.
No, we're taking it.
We had something to talk about it though.
Face value, because we did spend more than 5 minutes talking about it. So that being said, let's close out the show.
Yes.
Really big shoe.
Like, share, subscribe, comment down. I'm sure we said some offensive things during this show, so please don't hold us to task.
Don't spoil the ad for these guys. The West End ad.
Don't spoil the ad for us. All right. Well, then, for the Dragon's Tome, I've been your host, Chopper.
I'm Jack.
Fuck 5th edition.
Wow.
Well,